Hello and welcome to this video. My name is Eric Kingai and I'm here to talk to you about Treasury bills and Treasury bonds. What are they? What are the differences between a Treasury bill and a Treasury bond? And also how to invest in them. I'm going to give you a step-by-step guide on how to buy a Treasury bill or bond directly from the Central Bank of Kenya. So everything about Treasury bills and bonds is what we're going to discuss in this video. So let's get started. And the first question that I would like us to answer is, what exactly are Treasury bills and bonds? Well, we can think of it as a way of lending money to the government. And then in return, you're going to get an interest or you're going to earn an interest. The government requires money for different reasons. It could be to supplement a budget or to fund development projects. So what you do is you lend money to the government and then in return, you're going to earn an interest. So that is the similarity between Treasury bills and Treasury bonds. But there are differences in terms of maturity, in terms of how interest is paid. So I want us to look at the differences between Treasury bill and Treasury bonds. Let's talk about the maturity, or how long does it take to get back your money once you invest. That is what we refer to as maturity. Now, for Treasury bills, usually they are short-term instruments. What I mean by short-term instruments is less than 1 year. So there are three categories. There is a 91-day Treasury bill, that is 3 months. There is a 182-day Treasury bill, which is 6 months. And then there's a 364-day Treasury bill, which is a 1 year. So usually, Treasury bills are short-term instruments, less than 1 year. On the other hand, Treasury bonds are medium to long-term instruments. So it can be anything between 2 years all the way to even 30 years. So you can have a 5-year Treasury bond, a 10-year Treasury bond, 15-year Treasury bond, and so on. So that is the first difference between a Treasury bill and a Treasury bond. The other thing is how interest is paid. For Treasury bond, interest is actually paid twice a year. Like for example, let's say you have 100,000 and you want to purchase a Treasury bond. Maybe it's going at an interest, it's giving an interest rate of, let's say 14% per annum. So 14% of 100,000 is 14,000. So the 14,000 will be paid twice. So 7,000, 7,000. So around June, usually it's paid around June and December. So in June, you're going to get 7,000, and then in December, you're going to get the other 7,000. So that's how interest is calculated in for Treasury bonds. So that will happen until your bond matures. So each year, let's say if it's 5 years, you're going to be getting 7,000 twice a year. So 7,000 in June, 7,000 in December, like that until your bond matures. On the other hand, for Treasury bills, what happens is that interest is not calculated like Treasury bonds. So what happens is that the bill is sold to you at a discounted price. So this is what I mean. Let's use the example of 100,000 again. So you have 100,000, you want to purchase a 1-year Treasury bill. Let's say the interest rate is 12% per annum. So what happens is you're going to get 12% of 100,000, which is 12,000. Then you're going to take that away from the 100,000. So that gives you 88,000. So you're going to purchase the Treasury bill for 88,000 shillings. And then at the end of the 1 year, you're going to get back your 100,000. So that is what I mean by purchasing the bill at a discounted price. The other issue that I want us to talk about is taxation. So yes, Treasury bills and bonds are subject to a 15% withholding tax. Now, let me break it down. For Treasury bills, there's a 15% withholding tax on the discount. And then for Treasury bonds, there is a 15% 5% withholding tax for bonds up to 9 years. And then from 10 years and above, there is a 10% withholding tax. But of course, there are exemptions to this. So if you have a tax exemption certificate, then you are not going to pay the tax. Then there's also a special type of bond, which is known as infrastructure bond. So all along, the infrastructure bond has been tax-free. And I know many guys like this bond, but I have some sad news for you because there are some proposals. There's a proposal to introduce a 5% withholding tax for Kenyan residents and a 15% withholding tax for non-residents. I don't know how you guys are going to take this, but we just have to wait and see how it's going to unfold. So the other very important question that I would like us to address is what is the minimum amount of money that you can invest in a treasury bill or a treasury bond? Now, the minimum amount is 50,000 Kenya shillings for both bills and bonds. So sometime back for treasury bills, it used to be 100,000, but I think the central bank has lowered that amount to 50,000 for both bills and bonds. And actually, you can get all this information directly from the Central Bank of Kenya website. So the Central Bank of Kenya is the intermediary. Of course, the government cannot get the money directly from us. We cannot lend the government money directly. So it has to be through the Central Bank of Kenya. So the Central Bank of Kenya offers information about treasury bills and bonds, which we can get from the website. So let me share with you the website. So the Central Bank of Kenya website. So you just have to go to centralbank.go.ke. So let's actually do that. So you type central bank, or actually, yeah, centralbank.go.ke. Then while you're here, on the navigation, you can just hover on invest, then move down to where you have securities. So just click on securities. And here, when you scroll down, you can see a section here, Government Securities in Kenya. So we have treasury bills and we have treasury bonds. So all this information, you can actually get it here. So you can see here, if you'd like to purchase a treasury bill, you must invest a minimum of 50,000 shillings. Similarly, if you'd like to purchase a treasury bond, you must invest a minimum of 50,000 shillings. So all this information about bills and bonds, you can actually get to read it here. So everything that we have discussed so far, we've said treasury bills have maturities of 91 days, 182 days, 364 days, and so on. Now, there's a lot of information that maybe we may not be able to look at in detail. Now, who can invest? Now, anyone can invest, but there are some requirements that you need. So, and we are coming to that. You need a CDS account, and we shall come to that. I'm going to show you how to create an account with the Central Bank of Kenya, how you can bid, and how you can buy, basically, how you can buy a treasury bill or a treasury bond. Then there's also something else, which is accessing funds before maturity. Now, let's say we all know life happens, and you can invest the money, you can put in the money, and then after some time, maybe you need your money back. For treasury bonds, you can get your money back, but usually this is a behavior that is discouraged. And what the central bank does is that it's gonna buy the securities back, but it does so at a very punitive rate. Actually, they use that term. They buy at a punitive rate to discourage investors from doing this, and recommends that investors hold their securities until maturity, if at all possible. But if it's not possible, then you can sell back the securities to the Central Bank of Kenya. Now, for the Treasury bills, you cannot do that. For Treasury bills, they cannot be traded in the secondary market. So you have to wait until maturity. That's for Treasury bills. So there's a lot of information. You can just get time, just find time and go through all this information about Treasury bills, about Treasury bonds, and you'll get to know much better. So now I want us to talk about how to buy a Treasury bill and a Treasury bond. Now, for you to do this, you need an account with the Central Bank of Kenya. And now, earlier on, some time back, if you wanted to create an account with the Central Bank of Kenya, you had to walk there physically. But now there is a system which is known as a DAO CSD. DAO CSD, which allows you to create an account to buy Treasury bills and bonds from that platform. So you don't have to walk to the Central Bank of Kenya for you to do that. Now, so the portal is known as the DAO CSD. Now, on the homepage of the Central Bank of Kenya, let's see. Yeah, so again, you hover on the navigation menu, you hover on Invest, and then you can see DAO CSD portal. DAO CSD portal. So you just click on it. Then you just click on DAO CSD portal again, and then it's going to take you to the login page. Okay, there we go. So I already have an account with the Central Bank of Kenya. So I'm just going to log in, but actually there's a separate video that I have created, and I'm going to leave the link to that video in the description box of this video. So you can click on the video, and on that video, what I've done is I've explained step by step on how to create an account, because I already have an account, so I can't create another one because already my details are registered. But on that video that I've said, I'm going to leave the link to it in the description. You can actually follow through that video, and you'll be able to see step by step how to how to create an account. So let me log in to my account. So this is my account. So currently I don't have any holdings. Okay, I don't have any holdings at the moment. So this is how the portal looks like. So there's the dashboard, there's the portfolio, there's the transactions, corporate actions, securities, and then instructions, bids, auctions. So now the auctions is the most important part here, because on the auctions, that's where you get to see the Treasury bills or bonds that are on offer. For Treasury bills, the auction happens every week. So every week there is a new Treasury bill, okay? But for bonds, it happens on a monthly basis. So every month there is a Treasury bond that's on offer. So you just need to come to where you have auctions. So these here are Treasury bills. So how do you know they are Treasury bills? On the issue number, you can see here it says the issue number for this one is 2578/182. The other one is stroke 091/364. So you remember what we said, that Treasury bills have a maturity date of 91 days, 182 days, and 364 days. So these are Treasury bills. So currently, there's no Treasury bond on offer. So you just need to keep coming back here and check if there's any bond or bill that's on offer. And then let's say you want to buy this one here. You just need to you just click on create bid. So you create bid. Then you need to fill in this form. There's a form here that you'll need to click on. That you'll need to fill, sorry. So when you fill this, you will wait for the auction results. So the auction results, let's go back here. So your bids are going to be listed here. Then you'll wait for auction results. So the auction results, you can actually find them on the homepage. So if you go back to the Central Bank of Kenya homepage, let's go back there. So on the homepage here, you can actually see auction results for Treasury bills and for Treasury bonds. And then when you're successful, you can go ahead and pay. So when you're creating an account, as I said in that video, you're going to provide the settlement details, which is your bank account from where you're going to be making the transactions. So all that I have explained in that video. So just click on it and watch it so that you can get to learn more on how to create an account and how to bid for bonds and bills. So let me know if you have any questions on the comment section, and I'll be ready to respond to each one of them. So thank you so much, guys, for watching. See you in the next video, and goodbye.